So let's get started. So my name's Paul Byer. If people don't know, we started this group February. So we do a couple intros. I got a couple announcements, and tonight we want to really focus on Midjourney. And Rosemary is going to walk us through some of the basics and things they're learning, but particularly want to start with on Midjourney on the getting started in the basics. I want to find that to help more people kind of get over that, particularly if you're not real familiar with Discord or find it jarring, because it really is a stunning tool once you're able to start using it. I'll skip over this. Anyway, we're GAI Insights. It's a startup we have. It's advisory and education analyst group. We're doing a lot of things to help businesses in particular. That's our focus. Lots of newsletters, lots of conferences, and we believe a lot in community, things like this and a lot of other things of what we do around the community side. Send me an email if you want to get, I'll add you to the recurring invite in my Google Calendar if you want to get invite there instead of going through Meetup. It's a little easier for some. Lots of good case studies on YouTube. Here they are. For folks in Boston, we have our AI Woodstock. This is a free networking event, really casual. We do a Timeout Market Boston, which is near Fenway. It's a great area. It's like an adult food court. It's got bars and great pizza and food and outside. And Boston's Red Sox won't be in town, so it'll be pretty calm. A few other updates. People don't know Christopher Brock is in, I think, Cleveland or Cincinnati. Runs the largest ChatGPT group on Facebook with 238,000 people. He had built a shed on his yard and then got a criminal charge against him because he did it incorrectly. And then he used ChatGPT to file, I think it's 6 different briefings with the court that actually got him out of that charge, and he never once consulted a lawyer. So if you want to kind of hear his study, but I think it's yet again another example of the superpower of Gen AI to democratize different things. Here it's democratizing some basic lawyer education, lawyer knowledge for minor criminal cases. We're super excited about an emerging partnership we have with BU's Questrom School of Business. So they're a major sponsor of our conference coming up. We're also co-branding an executive education class with them. And third, we're doing a webinar with them August 30th and a few more. This is the first one coming up here. Our conference is coming up for folks in the New England area. 2 days. We've got a lot of momentum on this. We're very excited. We'll sell out here soon. We've got 10 reporters coming. Lots of excitement. This is really going to be a special event. We've got just an unbelievable set of speakers. I think the round is like 30 now, and we'll run it really tight, but it's really going to be a fantastic networking and learning environment. One of the things that we're starting to experiment with, and it's a crazy idea, and I appreciate Adam's and some others' help, is that we want a avatar or an AI person to be co-host of the event. And we're going to call her or it or him Echo. Echo is a minor character in some of the Greek myths. I forget exactly what she did, but Echo is also kind of a metaphor for how the ChatGPTs or all these large language models sucked up all the knowledge on the internet and kind of echoes it back and forth. And we'll have some fun where she'll I call her she for now. Will help introduce the conference and tell people when to go to lunch. And right now we're trying to figure out a cost-effective way to kind of create a 60-second demonstration with her and like a movie trailer type intro to the thing. So if people have interest in that, let me know. And Adam's done some interesting things already on that. At the conference, we're also going to be announcing the sale of our corporate buyer's guide to large language model. This is a paid product, Gartner-like report. We have a whole team working on this. The current list now is 62 or 65 vendors that we're going through vendor briefings with. The goal of this is to save 15 hours of research for a CTO or an AI team that's considering all these different types of large language models, open source, closed source, and whatnot. There's a lot of noise out there. There's a lot of interest in this. We know it's churning a lot, so we've committed to updating this report every single quarter for the next 3 years. And the report, when it goes on sale September 12th, that will include the September 12th version and the November 1st version. Because we know, despite our best efforts, we know we're going to have a few things here. It's 100% Switzerland. We don't have a financial interest in any of these vendors. It's absolutely not pay to play. Vendors cannot pay to be in the report. And the last 80 or 70 pages of the report will basically be a directory, and it'll be a 1 page on each of the vendors. Top part will be a lot of the basic information of employees and how many much money they've raised, and the bottom will be a single screenshot that they provide. Rosemary, do you want to talk about what this survey is?
Sure. So this morning, Paul and I were having a conversation, and we were talking about ChatGPT bot. And so if you would like to participate in our survey, that would be great. Just in case you don't know what this is the crawler from OpenAI that allows the crawler to go in and crawl your site and use that data for training purposes. So in this survey, we're asking you if you will allow ChatGPT's bot to go in and crawl your site. So if people want to just, if there's only 2 questions, so if you want to fill that out, and then maybe at the end of the call, Paul, we can just show the results.
That'd be great. That'd be great. And excuse me, Rosemary, for people who don't know, there's billions of dollars of lawsuits against OpenAI. I think Getty Images is 2 to 4 billion just in itself because it sucked up images that had watermarks on it and broke terms of service. There's also confidentiality. There's PII information. And the expert lawyers tell me one of 2 things are going to happen. You know, either a judge is going to have an injunction which shuts down the site. That's highly unlikely. Or second is that there'll be a bunch of settlements. And I think it's very clear eventually be a lot of settlements. One big question I hear from companies is, if I sue, if I'm Getty and I sue OpenAI, do I also then sue any large company that use OpenAI's products for profit? So if Coca-Cola use OpenAI, I might even fit in here, echo here. If Coca-Cola, let's say, uses OpenAI and creates an image that's then used in a commercial that's successful, is Coke now also liable for risk on being sued and having actually damages? So lots and lots of questions about who gets sucked up. And then also, Rosemary, I've also a lot of things I'm hearing from companies. I'm curious others hearing about what does search engine optimization look like in a world of OpenAI? Do I want to have more content out there with product information up there so it's sucked up more and has a better chance to be in the things, or do I want to have a real block things from being in those training sets as well?
So I don't think anybody knows the answer to that yet. If you look at what this Google Search Lab, which is their experimental output of Google Search, there's not a lot of links. You know, in the old days, like yesterday, we have all these links and ads and everything. There's still ads, but it looks very different. It's more conversational. I'm not really sure what we have to do yet. I really don't think anybody knows yet.
Yeah. And then certainly, I think when Mike will get to your question, people haven't done, go to Google and type in, you know, the 10 best places to buy EV vehicles in your neighborhood or something, and type in the same question at a ChatGPT or any of the other open large language models. Hey, go ahead, Mike. You're on mute, Mike.
Is ChatGPT or OpenAI the only company that's getting sued, or are they suing?
I think Stability is getting sued. I think, no, they're not the only one. There's 3 or 4 others.
Really? Now, is Bard and Bing getting sued?
And I'm sure at some point.
Okay.
I'm a lawyer. I'm suing them all. Yeah, and obviously anybody can sue anybody. So
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Good point.
I think that the bigger issue in that is there precedent? Will there be case
Yeah.
law that one judge somewheres in the country says, I agree, there actually has been harm here. And then the only question is, how do you quantify the damage? And once that starts, and it's going to be like smoking everything else. It's going to take a long time to go through the courts. I suspect attorney generals will get involved. But anyway, yeah, so fill out Rosemary thing. And Rosemary, let's jump to Midjourney. If for folks who don't want to exchange,
Well,
and,
you're going to go through, I'm
okay,
just going to show, you're going to
okay.
show the first part, and I'm going to show what it can actually do, right?
Great. I'll do that. I'll do that. So for people who don't know what Midjourney is, it's a fantastic tool. So generative AI is you put something in and get something out. And text to text, put text in it to get text out. That's ChatGPT and Bard and Bing and some of the others here. There's a whole bunch of other generative types of here. One is text to image, and we're going to show that. There's also text to video. There's a company called Runway ML, which is unbelievable as well, and it does work. It's a short video, but you can type in, lightning striking Grand Canyon at sunset and hit, and you gotta wait a little bit, and the video shows up on that. There's also image to text. So I haven't tested this a lot, but if you have handwritten notes, you can upload that picture of the notes to Bing AI chat. That's an image, and it'll convert that to text you can put into your thing, as well as a whole bunch of other things. There's last one before I go, people, I said there's actually 2D to 3D. You can put in a 2D picture and into the generative thing, and it'll come out and it'll make it a 3D object. So it's really kind of interesting from that standpoint. But let me walk through. Go ahead, Bob. Bob, do you have something quick here? Mute. Yeah.
Sorry, just something quick. So none of the LLMs actually do image to X. Google, for example, in Bard uses their product called Lens, L-E-N-S, and what they use is convolutional neural networks and RNNs, recurrent neural networks. Same thing as Bing. So I asked these questions earlier. So what they're doing is they're taking it to their computer vision software, dissecting the image, feeding that back in. So there isn't any image or video to X. These LLMs are strictly tokens, technically, or text to X.
Great. Thanks, Bob. Let's so Midjourney. So let me share my screen. So for let's start at the simple level. So Midjourney, for people who haven't seen, you go here, you join the beta. To join the beta, it requires you to use something called Discord. And people who haven't seen Discord, this is what it is. It is a super colorful, confusing if you're not used to it, image messaging thing like Slack. You have different organizations or companies. So I've got, what are these? I'm not sure what all these are. This is Midjourney. I think this is, I'm not sure what that is. This is Generative AI Observatory. That's the Harvard Business School. This is my own server. And you can start with Midjourney. And they have a bunch of education stuff here. One thing that you want to do is get into a new channel. The thing I've found that's easier is if you go start your own server. So see if I can do a second one. Server 2. Let's see. I don't want to invite anybody here. And I want to add an app, and I want to add Midjourney. Oh, no, I don't. What am I doing wrong? Setting up my server.
Where's your name, Paul? I don't see.
Yeah,
You can also have a direct chat with a Midjourney bot, which I found the easiest to use that. Just directly talk to Midjourney.
So just go here and talk to it? Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Direct
getting
messages.
started. I believe that's what it says to do. I was first I did my first day in Midjourney yesterday, and that's what I did.
That's also how I function most through the chatbot.
That is exactly the directions right there.
A great get started. And to use it, you type in /imagine, and a prompt comes up with the words. So let me go to my server, which at least doesn't give everything else. So you do /imagine, and then prompt, and let's do a prompt. Image of man fishing with sun, watching sunset. So you literally type in, it's a prompt. It's just like the ChatGPT prompt. It's a text prompt, and people share these and everything else. It's pretty literal, or it is literal, and also has some other parameters you can add to it. And then it'll slowly start building up the image.
And Paul, it is worth noting, sorry, this is Chris, when you are doing this on one of the Midjourney public channels, as you are doing this, tons of other stuff is coming in.
Correct.
So you kind of have to either figure out how to find the mentions of yourself or just keep scrolling back to find it.
Yeah.
And there's
so
probably some smarter way to do it, but I don't know what it is.
well,
And
that's what.
I'll show
That's
you
what.
that.
Good. So that's why this adding a server was one where it's just my own server. And then you've got 4 visions or 4 versions. And then with the U and the V options. So what's the U one stand for again? This,
So,
this is version, right?
Do you want me to take over, Paul?
That'd be great. I've got it so far.
Okay. Okay, let me share my screen.
Thank you for rescuing me, Rosemary. Send me the bill.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Rosemary, before you start, Tim's got a question. Go ahead, Tim.
I was just wondering, is there like a free level, or did you have to sign up and pay money? How does it work? Because I thought Midjourney cost money, was my understanding.
There's a freemium version, but I can't find it anymore. I started out that way, but now it's $100 a year. Well worth it.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
can everybody see my screen?
We can.
Okay, so I'm now in the Discord server in my own channel, and no one else can see what's going on in my channel. What Paul was showing you was this public channel where people can see what you're creating and comment and all kinds of things. So I'm going to show you, because all of this takes time, I'm going to show it to you from a presentation that is I'm creating right now for a webinar. So the way that once you create an image, and as Paul showed, you put the command image and then you type your prompt. So when you get back your first response, there is a grid, and this is the way the grid is numbered. These numbers down here relate to the grid. So when you click on you, it simply makes this image larger so that you can do other things with it or download it. This allows you to remix, and what that does is it allows you to see all these 4 new images using the same prompt. If you use the V buttons, you can then create variations based on any one of these. So V2 would give you a variation of that. And it looks something like this. So I took V3 from my slides, and this is a remix of only the V3. So slight differences, difference in shading. I think I added one note to add a touch of orange to it to make it more dramatic. On the right-hand side, you're seeing what happens when you use the little remix signal, and it allows you to get 4 new images all over again from the same prompt. Now, when you get to this stage, you're going to see a variety of different options for each image. And so, let me see, I think the next, okay, so you can change the image a lot or just a small amount. You can zoom out so that it adds more space left and right here, and zooming in and out. So let me show you what that looks like. So I took image number 2, I selected strong, and that's what I got. Subtle actually looks quite a lot like strong. I don't really see very many differences at all. They actually look like the same image. That could be a mistake, actually. And then zooming out and panning left. Okay, so let me just tell you what you're seeing. This presentation is going to be given September 5th by my designer, who unfortunately has COVID right now. And I'm going to show you what he has created using Midjourney. And he has tried all the different tools and worked with them. And he keeps coming back to Midjourney with the combination of Photoshop being the best way to get great images. So because I'm presenting to a marketing group, I'm going to show you how you can create illustrations, photorealistic images, conceptual images, and a number of other things that you would use in a marketing department. So this is looking at illustrations. For anyone who's interested, they can sign up for the event, and then you'll get this deck when it's done. And at the bottom, you can see what prompt created each of these images.
Excuse me, Rosemary. So for the people who are new, they can literally take what these text words are, go into their version of Midjourney, put it in, and get the same image. That's correct?
It won't be the same. It's never the same. It's just like ChatGPT. You put in a prompt 2 times and you get two different versions of the same thing.
But similar. It'll be close.
It's similar, yes. It'll be similar, but it won't be exactly the same. And just like when you remix this, you ask for one small change and everything really changes. And then these are longer prompts. This is to show how to really work with Midjourney to get a lot of a really great output here. So we're talking about double exposure photography. You sort of have to be a bit on the design side to know exactly what to ask to generate images that look like that. But in these 2 variations, he changed very little here of the original. Photorealism, quite interesting.
Can you go back that one? Notice on the bottom here that it says cinematic dramatic lighting. And that's a type of clues that he's using, right?
Right, he's using all these specific words to produce an output that he's looking for. So that's the benefit of seeing these prompts and trying these prompts yourself. You can, for example, take this prompt and then just leave out one word and see what the output looks like. And I was just talking to Bob earlier, and he was asking, well, can it really do what Getty Images can do? So this is an example of what I would consider looks just as good as anything that Getty Images could produce. And so in this example, we really just changed a couple of words. Here we asked for an Asian woman, a Black woman. We changed a few things about what they were wearing, always having a phone in the photo. Any questions?
RJ's got a question. Go ahead, RJ.
Yeah, I was just going to point out that I've been watching videos on Matt Wolf, WOLFE's YouTube channel, and he pointed out something very interesting. If you find an image that you like, you can take the image and you can load it into some websites, and they will actually decipher probably what the prompt was. And then you can copy that prompt and get something very close to the original sometimes.
Well, if you can remember, RJ, what that site was, please send it to me.
Well, I'll give you the link. Yeah, sorry.
There's a function within Midjourney, rather than doing /imagine and typing the words to create a prompt, you can give it an image and do /describe, and it'll do what you're saying. It will
Oh,
tell
Yeah,
you
that's what I
prompt
meant.
to
That's
create
what I
an image
meant.
like that.
Yes.
That's a capability within Midjourney called
Yeah,
/describe.
that's what I should have said too. Yeah, sorry about that.
Thanks, Adam.
Yeah, thanks, Adam. Some
Rosemary, we got one other question. Chris?
Hi, Rosemary. So if you had a commercially available product, one that's out there on the web, but maybe not well known, and say you wanted to take a photo like that and you wanted to place it in one of those women's hands or on top of that table, is there a way you can use Midjourney to insert your product photos into these images?
Not that I'm aware of. You'd have to use Photoshop for that. And different images, architectural images. Now, let me just tell you how this image here was created. It was created in Midjourney first, but if you can watch my cursor, Midjourney only returned this section of it. And then using Photoshop, Jim was able to add this information using, I think it's called Outpaint. Or Uppaint, that then added this information on the left and the right. And web layouts. And so what we've decided is that what you get from Midjourney, you know, when you're looking at layouts is really, this is really your first draft. It's sort of like getting ChatGPT to create a content outline or a blog post. I mean, it's really just giving you the first draft, and then you need human input to really make it your own. And so, you know, you may not like the looks of the sky or whatever, so you take these layouts and then you've got something to work from. And so you can take these and make, you know, easy modifications, adding calls to action, whatever. A lot of what we do in marketing is registration forms. And so these are just different layouts we were able to create that build in a registration form on the page. And brochures, brochure layouts, lots of different cool things we were able to do with these prompts here, adjusting color and tone and what was included in it. Cell sheets. Obviously, this woman here, she doesn't look like a real person, so that would be where you pull this comp and work on it in Photoshop. But it gives you all the elements of what the page would look like.
Rosemary, quick question on my end. So is Jim your designer's name? Is that his name?
Jim is our designer, yes.
Yeah, so has Jim found that this has fundamentally changed his workflow? Does he pick for this power tool first, or does he still kind of go with what he's used for 20 years and maybe I'll use this every now and then?
Well, Paul, I pulled him out of retirement to work on this. and he told me that he had to stop working on it because he was getting up in the night and working on Midjourney. He just became totally addicted to it. So he isn't actually working. His work is really just putting this presentation together and working on these different tools just out of pure interest.
Yeah, thank you. Hey, Toby's got a question. Go ahead, Toby.
Hey, Rosemary. This is awesome, by the way. Can you build on it in the same way that you can do in like a ChatGPT thread, where it will know the fact that you've asked a particular question earlier on in the threads, then you can say in that same tone, do this or whatever. So in the same way here that you've got web pages, could you get it to say, now that you've designed this page, could you now design the contact us page in the same style? Or can you now design the home page in the same style? Like, well, can you relate them in that way?
You know, I haven't done that, but I bet what you could do is you could take this and let's go back up. I'm just looking for something. You can probably lightly modify, sorry, this is just messy here. You can probably just lightly modify this. So this is going to bring up the prompt. And let's say you wanted to do that and then say, corporate, let's change this corporate web page, corporate contact us page. And let's see what happens. And of course, you have to go to the very bottom. Invalid request. Huh. Okay, we're going to resubmit it. Okay, so it didn't like that one. Let me just try it again on a layout. Now this isn't going to be a good one to do this with because I don't think, okay, we'll try it. Okay, so what you're going to see here is you're going to see the prompt. It's going to tell you how far along the prompt is in building. It always looks horrible and you wonder how you're going to get anything good out of it. 46%. And you know, it's not very obedient. You know, you ask it to do a contact us form and it doesn't always do that. So let's just look at this. It changed the look completely, didn't it? So I think that's a hard thing to do. We'll have to try that. We'll try that and see how that works. If we can come up with a way to do that.
Excuse me, we have a
Just,
question from Adam.
Just
Go ahead, Adam.
the direct answer to the question, though, is no, it doesn't maintain a conversation history. It isn't aware of the previous requests you've made. So there's no way to leverage that. You have to take the words that got a result and try and use similar words to get a similar result.
Well, and that,
I guess,
Adam,
could you ask for?
Go ahead.
I was going to say, could you then ask for multiple pages in the same prompt? So it presents it as one image, but with them side by side. So maybe that'd be a way of kind of, if you wanted to have multiple pages done in the one action.
You know, I haven't tried that exact thing, Toby, but I bet you could because it does a brochure, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And
Thank you.
Adam, to your point, we're just taking the exact prompt and changing one word from, you know, web page to a contact us page in the hopes that that would do it. But Toby, I'll give that a shot and see if I can come up with a way to do that. But
Toby, it's deeper down the rabbit hole, but someone mentioned Stable Diffusion and that they run that locally. Stable Diffusion, because it's open source, there's a lot of people that are innovating around how you can control. There's actually something called Control Net, and you can get a lot more specificity about exactly what you want to control in the image with some of the more complicated, less accessible, but much more in-depth tools.
Rosemary, thank you, Adam. Rosemary, we got a question from Manny. Manny, go ahead. Thanks for raising your hand.
Oh, thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can.
Rosemary, another great job. Thank you. The question I have is, can I actually save an image and actually reuse it again? Can I create a library of stocked images, or do I always just have the text and I got to save that and then hopefully it regenerates it the next time? But I'd love to be able to pick up on something that maybe is really cool and build on that in the future. Is that possible?
Well, I think you'd have to save your prompt.
But there's no guarantee the prompt will return exactly what you have, right?
Right, it won't be exactly the same thing. So in the Discord server, as you saw, there's, you know, tons of images there, right? So what you could do is set up is, if there's images that you really like, you could put them into a separate folder, if you will, so that you can go back to those.
Yeah, it makes sense. So I guess if I have something really cool and I want to enhance it before I drop that session, I might want to keep playing with different objects and saving those in my library, I guess, because coming back to it would be pretty difficult, right?
Well, no, because it's always in your server, right? These are the images that I created this morning for Paul's. Okay, so no, everything is still all here, right? So you can go back to your images here, and then you have all these options. So you can take one image and continue to do things with it.
I got it. So even if it's something that you did a month ago, you can always go back in history and pick up where you left off.
Right, right.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
That's good. Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead, Adam.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. What you can also do is you can use an image prompt. So if you've saved one of your images, you can include that as part of the prompt, and then it'll work from that image if you're trying to make similar images to one you already have.
Great, thanks. Go ahead, Bob.
Adam may have partially answered my question. So one of the things you can do in Adobe, so first of all, Adobe isn't at the level of Midjourney when text to image, but as Rosemary mentioned earlier, you can export from Midjourney and do all sorts of rendering in Photoshop. It's kind of I think this was Toby's question. It was sort of my interest as well. Can you actually save an image, a PNG or JPEG, upload it, and then build your image around it? For example, you have take this sneaker that was generated on the left, create a brochure, a sell sheet around it, put it on the contact page, that sort of thing. I think what Adam is saying is that's possible now, as long as the image was generated from within Midjourney. Is that correct, Adam?
No, you can use any image as part of the prompt. I put a link to the Midjourney documentation. It gives a few examples in there as well.
But are you saying you can actually upload, for example, a JPEG?
Yeah, you can use any image. It doesn't have to be a Midjourney image.
Okay, great. Thanks.
And I just want you to know, I'm not the designer who created these, it's Jim. So he's probably better able to answer all these questions.
Well, don't let him retire.
Yeah, I know. Of course, logos. Okay, let me just see if there's anything else in here. I think I showed this already. I think that's it. I think that's all we have. The only other thing that we want to pay attention to is what copyright is. So the only thing that I'm concerned about with copyright is with Adobe Firefly, who currently says that for the beta version, they own all the images. So that's one thing to be aware of. And Paul, I'll put this back on you unless anybody else has a question.
Last call for questions on Midjourney. So fantastic job, Rosemary.
Thank you.
Continue to do just great work, and thank you for sharing and educating. And it's really wonderful. So we've got just 10-15 minutes left here. This is kind of the open mic where people can ask questions to the group, share other fun things that they've learned or seen. I've got 2 to share if we don't have enough time. We don't have people that want, but who wants to share something or share a use case here? Go ahead, Mike. Mike, you're on mute again.
I actually have a question about ChatGPT 5. Does anyone know about that, when it's coming out and what it's supposed to do?
Lots of rumors. I don't know. Does anyone have any tracking?
Anything concrete? Yeah.
So Mike, nope, there isn't any definitive information. What's been done is people have posted the USPTO trademark filing, and based on that, then their own interpretation. What is clear from it, if you read through it and lots of analysis around it, is the integration of voice. So you can expect, instead of having, the way it works today is you do voice to text and then you take text and input in it. It looks like it's going to be able to do voice natively. So you can imagine a senior community be able to talk through a microphone directly to ChatGPT. That's just a guess, by the way, based on reading the USPTO filing. There is no mention, for example, of doing native image. I think they're all going to be doing what I described earlier with regard to Bard and Bing, using external computer vision, CNNs and RNNs to do interpretation of images, then turn them into text, and then generate whatever you want on the outside. But you can read the filing itself. I could actually probably find it for you and post it here if you want, but there's lots of interpretations on LinkedIn around those themes.
That's interpretation, nothing concrete yet.
Yeah, nothing concrete.
No.
That's right. Yeah, go ahead, RJ.
So I just wanted to follow up regarding that comment I made about that YouTube channel. That was really good because I've been watching Matt Wolf's videos quite a bit lately. He's really got a lot of good stuff on doing images and using different AI tools for images. In fact, he has one video that it compares using one prompt in all of the top image tools. So if you want to see very quickly how the different tools react to the same exact prompt, it's really good to watch some of his videos. And another thing that he has is he has a website where he lists a lot of news. The guy is obsessed with AI and generative AI. So he's really pumping out a lot of news about on a regular basis, and a lot. He has it also on his website listings of articles that came out and as part of the news, and also he has a directory of all the different tools, AI tools that are out there. So if you're looking for AI tools, go there, and you can. That's another source you can use as a resource to find out about different AI tools.
Great. Thanks. Who wants to share the coolest thing they've seen this week in AI? I am looking for a video. Go ahead, Adam. I see your hands up. Go ahead, Adam.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. It's actually not the coolest thing I've seen this week, but I put in the chat thread, and I wasn't sure if people saw. I mentioned Night Cafe, which is just a it's an alternative to Midjourney that's free. You get daily credits. There's also an option to generate images at 0 credits, so it's just a great place to play around. I'll just. Oh, you're already screen sharing. It's all right, but you can take, like, if you're online and you find all these people talking about Midjourney prompts, you can take those similar prompts. I will do a quick screen share so you can see, and you can take those prompts and just put them into this other tool in a similar fashion, like these ones here, for example, coloring book, boy riding bicycle, cartoon, thick, etc. This was on Twitter. I saw someone's Midjourney prompt, and so I tried the exact same thing in Night Cafe. And you'll see it's still pretty extraordinary quality for just literally typing in words and having it, output all sorts of images. But it's a free alternative for people who are just playing and don't necessarily want to wear the cost of Midjourney at this point.
Thank you, Adam. I'll show 2 quick things. One in the chat, I'll just stick in here. People may have seen this. This is I think a 2-minute video. The unbelievable quality. The guy took 7 hours, so we created in a day. And one of the things that's really striking to me, Liz Manzura, who's on our team, she was CMO Cadillac and Buick and has done a lot of Super Bowl commercials. And when you talk to her, how you do a Super Bowl commercial takes a year. You got all this planning, tens and tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars. And now we're seeing these tools that within a day, you can have snippets that are near Super Bowl quality here. So I think the explosion of creativity on the visual thing, I think we're going to see more and more of it. It's quite exciting. The other thing I'll share is, I don't know if people, John Svioka, another one of our colleagues, he was using a tool from Microsoft that enhances PowerPoint visually and was able to put in 6 or 8 pictures and really create. And I don't know what the tool's name is, but I was very impressed. He's on the non-technical side. And the fact that he was able to use a Microsoft tool that really had curved images and pictures was impressive. It makes a lot of sense for Microsoft because that user base obviously is so big.
Well, that's probably Copilot. So there's a select number of customers that Microsoft is rolling out Copilot to. I'm just guessing, but he might have access to it.
Maybe, yeah, obviously, yeah. But he thought, at least I interpreted his words, that this was a maybe it's PowerPoint within Copilot or Copilot within Pilot. I haven't spent enough time with Copilot to really understand.
So my understanding is, my understanding with Copilot, it's going to be resident inside the Office 365 apps. So you'll be able to enhance what you can do with PowerPoint and Excel and so forth with AI generated, but it's only released now to a select number of customers, which is why we don't see it yet. Yeah. It should be big news sometime later this year.
It actually, they're expanding it to 600 companies in an early access program right now, and it's $100,000 if you want into the program, and that gets you 300 licenses.
So I can tell you,
So they're not messing around. They're making people pay six
Yeah.
figures just to try their tool early, like to be beta customers. It's big
so
business.
Adam, I can tell you for a fact, GAI Insights has not paid to be part of the beta.
My colleague presented to our board last week to unlock the funding.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Exciting. Go ahead, RJ.
You just reminded me of what I think was the most coolest tool that I saw Matt Wolf describe in one of his videos yesterday. And it's basically, they've dumbed down the ability to make a really incredible drawing using these AI tools. And what this was, one tool he showed was that somebody made out there, I can't remember the name, but you could sketch with with a really rough sketch, you could just make some lines on the screen, and then you use the menu, because let's say you've made a line of horizon, and then you made it a line where the trees are supposed to be. I mean, we're talking about like scribbling, okay? You can scribble in that form very crudely, using the menu button, select what you want to go in those different spots that you scribbled on, and end up having an amazing drawing come to life. And then you can modify and tweak it, and it can be 3D, and it can be, 360 degrees. That tool, I think, was the most amazing, simple, but outstanding result tool that I've seen so far.
And I apologize, RJ, what was the name of that tool?
Well, see, that's the problem. I saw so many of Matt Wolf's videos yesterday, and it was stuffed in one of the news videos that he made.
If you're talking about to like a 3D image of a world, I've put the link to it in the chat. Right. It's called Skybox from Blockade Labs, and you can sketch in it, and it'll generate a full 3D image of a world for you.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Yes.
Wonderful. Thanks, Adam. Last question, Manny, take us home here.
Okay, I'll do what I can, Paul. So one of the things I want to share with you and just get your thoughts too, if anybody's played with the tables within Chat GPT, Rosemary did a great presentation, and she showed how she can upload some tables a while back. And I'd asked her, is there a way we can get Chat GPT to create columns to the right of the table? So I took it on my own to try it out. I've been playing with it quite a bit, and I've learned a lot of things where Chat GPT does a great job of adding columns to the right and doing some fancy calculations. Bing Chat doesn't support tables at all. In fact, it got a little offensive when I was asked, when are you going to support it? And it returned me some note that says, I don't feel comfortable answering these questions. And it just cut the session. And then Bard has just been not very good, not as good as ChatGPT. But the one thing I cannot get out of ChatGPT is to be 100% accurate on calculating the rows across the table. It displays the table as well, it uploads the data, but about 40% of the data is inaccurate. And even though I keep telling it to recalculate, and if I tell it a one-off, it'll recalculate and get it right, say, my bad, I'll fix it. But then when it goes and refreshes the table, about 40% is off again. And so I think there's got to be some more work obviously done on the table side. So I haven't even gotten to the part where it would be really using AI, where do predictions, do comparisons, historical analysis, correlations. That's what I'm trying to get to. And the use case is it's support data. I have support owners, it's a case they're working on, a start and end time. And I'm just asking ChatGPT, calculate the amount of time, tell me how long it took to close the case and open. So it's been a lot of fun, but I guess to summarize and to bring it home, is the table calculation stuff is just not there yet. It's just amazing. And even though you would think math is either 100% right or 100% wrong, but in this case, even though it comes back and says, yes, Manny, I got it wrong, but then when they go recalculate again, it just gets it wrong again. Is that a hallucination? I don't know.
Thanks, Manny.
Manny, the two-word answer,
Bob,
by the way.
You want to take that?
Yeah. The two-word answer is code interpreter. I could explain in detail, then all sorts of tests, that sort of thing. But if you're a Plus subscriber,
But Bob, I just want to be sensitive of time.
Yeah, go for it, Paul.
Code interpreter, yeah. Rosemary, do you have the results of the survey by chance? Still on mute, Rosemary.
Can you see my screen?
We can hear you now.
Okay, good. So we had 10 responses. So we had 40, we have a tie here, 40% yes, 20% no, and not
Sorry,
sure.
Rosemary, the results, it looks like you just dragged them off the screen you're sharing and we can't see them now. So
Oh,
whatever
you
screen
can't?
they were on, just drag them back over there. Thank you.
Let's see. Okay, can you see them now?
No, we see to the web, the Charles Schwab voicemail window.
Oh,
So just drag
okay,
them
how
on top
about
of that.
that?
Perfect, thank you. Yep.
Oh, okay, sorry about that. Okay. All right, so here's the results. Yes, no, not sure. And then the responses to the question, if you answered no or not sure why, access to proprietary data, lack of royalties and IP. I'm not really sure. Yeah, redundant. I'm not sure what that impact is. So that's what people gave us as their answers. So we're going to keep this running. So if anybody hasn't done this, please feel free to fill this out.
And thank you, Rosemary. And people haven't known, I mean, companies are now monetizing their content. So Redx monetizing. I had a call with the VP in charge at who does Quora, who does Poe, and they've got a whole monetization effort here. So it's really turned into content remains important, and you can make a lot of money if you have a lot of it. So thanks everyone. Yet again, another wonderful meeting, and we'll talk to hopefully many of you next week.